Hi there, Dan Northcutt here with the American Dream Company, and I want to talk to you about the number one most important point to consider when you sell your home. That's right here. Now, why do I think this is important? Well, let me tell you. When I first sit down with home sellers, the conversation quickly gets to the point where home sellers want to know, how are you going to market my house? Are you going to go on the internet? Are you going to do flyers? Are you going to do one of those signs? Are you going to have one of those little boxes that are supposed to have flyers in it is always empty? Well, the answer to that is, we can talk about that on a different video, but let's talk about this. Before we talk about marketing, I think, and I will argue this every time, that the number one most important thing to take into consideration, the most important point you need to know before you talk about marketing, before you talk about staging, about the open house, about anything, is pricing. Without a doubt, pricing is the most important thing, and often missed, often not given enough time or energy to determine that right price. Now, why is it so important? Well, let me tell you. When I work with home buyers today, I got to tell you, 95, 98% of home buyers that I work with, maybe more, they do their own research. They come to me with lists of homes. I can provide them with lists, but they frequently come to me with their own list because they're doing their own research. They get it from Trulia, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. They have their favorite spot. No matter what I do or say, I can't stop them from going to their favorite spot to get real estate information. Now, they can certainly go to the American Dream Company's website, get that same information, but it's all coming from one place, and that is in the MLS. They all extract information from the MLS. Some are better about getting that information out than others, but the buyers today, they have so much information available to them. They know days on market, absolutely critical, and instinctively buyers know that the longer a home sits on the market, the higher the probability that the home seller will come off that listed price, or the more willing they might be to take a low ball offer. And this happens day in and day out. I see it all the time. A home sits on the market too long, and then low ball offers start coming in. So what happens next? It depends on the seller, what situation they are at. Maybe they can't come any lower, and they just pull the property off the market. Maybe they expire and they come back on the market with a new real estate agent and see if that might work. Maybe it's the marketing, right? They think it's the marketing. Well, the truth is, most of the time, I would bet, most of the time, they didn't have it priced right to begin with. And it's absolutely critical, in my opinion, critical that you price it right out of the gate. From the day it's listed for sale, it's got to be listed at the right price. Now, it's, in my opinion, and I've been doing this for a while, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, your best chance of getting the highest price is getting the home sold in the first 1 to 3 weeks, because that's when buyers are seeing a new home is listed for sale. Remember, they have all of this information available to them on the internet, right? They can even set up their own little searches, so they're emailed immediately when a new home comes on the market that meets their criteria. It's in the right area, right school district, right price range, number of bedrooms, all this stuff. All of a sudden, a new listing comes up, bing, they get a new email, they can check it out, brand new listing. And the buyers that I work with, they know. They come to me with their own list. Sometimes they'll tell me, hey, Dan, this one was listed with another real estate agent, then it came back on, and then it went off, and another real estate agent listed it, and they're finally dropping the price. Maybe we should go see it now. They know this stuff. And if they know it, folks, if you're thinking about selling your home, take this into consideration. Home buyers, they have all of this information available to them. Don't make the mistake of testing the market. This isn't like it used to be. You know, when you would sell a house, a lot of times it was considered similar to buying a car. You know, you never walk onto a lot and pay the price that's on the windshield. Of course not. You always have to negotiate. If you don't negotiate the price down, you walk away with buyer's remorse because you didn't get a good deal. Every buyer wants to feel like they got a good deal. It's not like that anymore. You don't price the house high so that you have wiggle room or some room to come down, or areas, what do they, sellers call it, I guess, the negotiations. Let the buyer feel like they got a good deal. Buyers know. Buyers know when they get a good deal. They don't need to play a game. You don't have to go into negotiations. The negotiations is a big part of the job that we do. There's a couple of different points when negotiations are big on every single transaction. We can talk about that in a different video. But the point I want to make, before you talk about marketing, before you talk about staging, before you talk about showings, open houses, anything, you got to come up with the right price. Now, how I come up with our price is based on this book, The Fundamentals of Real Estate Appraisal. It's a textbook that I read when I was getting my broker's license some time ago, and it changed the way I do my valuations. Now I do my evaluation just like a residential appraiser. I have a sheet that looks like this. I have my subject property here. That's what appraisers call it, subject property. I have my subject property here, and then I take into consideration the homes that have sold in the area. I like to find them geographically close. I prefer to see closings within the last 3 months. Frequently, we have to go to 6 months. I don't like to go beyond 6 months. In a rare occasion, depending on where the property's at, I might go beyond 6 months, but I always like to keep a tight geographic area because that's going to give us the most accurate valuation. Then, because most homes in the area that I sell homes in, most homes that I sell are older, typically 50s, built in the 50s and 60s, there's been quite a bit of time's gone by. We've had different homeowners at different times have made a lot of improvements, some improvements, or no improvements at all. We need to make the adjustments for all of that information. We look at furnaces, air conditioners, bathroom upgrades, kitchen upgrades, solar. Is the solar leased? Is it owned? That's a big thing. If it's owned, it adds value. If it's leased, it could actually make it harder for you to sell because now the buyers, not only do they have to qualify for your home, but they have to qualify for the lease as well. So we have to take that into consideration. There's all sorts of, there's about 20 items that we look at very closely and make some adjustments. Some of the adjustments may only be $200, $300, $400, $500. Some of the adjustments are $15,000, $20,000. So it makes a big difference. Once we go through all of that, for every one of the comparable home sales, I'll look at the sale price, make the adjustment. I might be adding, I might be subtracting numbers, and coming up with an apples to apples comparison. If the comparable home sales were in the same condition as the subject property, your home, for example, we get a new valuation. We get 5, and that way we can see what's that price range. If there's one that's way outside of the range, sometimes we'll just throw that out, just considering it a fluke. Maybe somebody sold it to a neighbor or a friend, a relative, something like that. Could throw things completely off. But if we see a pattern, then we have a good idea of the price range that your house is most likely to sell at. Now that's important because now we have something to work with. And if we price it properly, we're going to get buyers looking at it. We're going to get offers on the property. If we don't price it properly, if we test the market, if you work with an agent that's just giving you a number out there, a high number, just so they can get the house listed and they know that you'll eventually come down, but they got the listing at that point, well, guess what? Your home's going to sit on the market, days on market will rack up, and you're likely to get lowball offers. So if you'd like for us to do a valuation for you, we're happy to do it. We do this all the time for folks. There's no cost. There's no obligation. You're not obligated to work with us because we do this. We just simply do it because we want to demonstrate to you our professionalism, our experience, and hopefully when it comes time to hiring that real estate agent, you'll see that we're the right fit for you. We would love the opportunity. Again, Dan Northcutt here with the American Dream Company. I'm at 619-701-0019, and we'd be happy to help. If we can answer some questions for you over the phone, let us know. One of the questions people frequently will ask us is, what about Zillow? Zillow's telling us this or that, or Trulia. People want to believe those numbers because oftentimes they're really out of whack. Look, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, all of the websites, they're limited to the public record information. In other words, they know the permitted square footage and the homes that have sold in the area. Basically, they determine a value based on the homes that have sold in the area, average price per square foot times the number of square feet you have. They come up with this number. Sometimes it's accurate. Frequently it's not. So I highly discourage you to look at this as a number to market at, but they're great tools. I'm not saying they're not. I actually like Trulia, Zillow, Realtor.com. I think they're excellent for determining the direction of the market. So if you look at it every couple of months, after 6 or 8 or 12 months, you start to get a good feel for the direction of the market. Are the average homes going up? Average home prices going up? Are they coming down? Are they going up a lot? Are they coming down a lot? Those sort of things. So That may answer one of your questions, but feel free to call me anytime with questions, or if you'd like a evaluation, I'm happy to do it. Again, Dan Northcutt, 619-701-0019. If you want to sell your house, don't be surprised if you find us talking about pricing. All right. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day, and good luck to you.